Did you know that according to a report by Times Pro, 85% of businesses in India recognize the importance, the significance, the criticality of having a formal, structured succession plan. But only 18% of businesses in India have a formal, structured succession plan. That means 82% of Indian businesses, 82% of Indian businesses don't have a succession plan. A fantastic example of the knowledge action gap, KAG, right? We know exercise is important for us, our health, both physical and mental, and our longevity. But we don't do exercise. Knowledge action gap. We know staying away from junk food, eating healthy food is going to be good for our health. But, you know, we know sleep is crucial for our executive function, for our decision making, for our gut health, for our mental health. But, you know, so yeah, knowledge action gap is nothing new. Going back, if you are one of my typical clients, you are a corporate CXO or an entrepreneur or a founder or a business owner, the case is very simple for you. Either your business belongs to the 18%, which have a structured, formal succession plan, or you belong to the 82% who don't have a structured, formal succession plan. So what I'm about to share with you in this video is going to make a lot of sense for both the parties, but especially more for the people, the 18% who have a structured succession plan. I'm going to share with you the top 5 mistakes that businesses do while doing succession planning. And for the 82%, if you are here, then also it becomes a guideline for you to start your succession planning journey at a better position so that you don't make these mistakes. Okay? So, top 5 mistakes in succession planning. Number 1 is what I call choosing tenure over talent. Now, imagine in your company there is a leadership position, okay, and you are preparing successors for that position, and you have 2 choices. Choice number 1 is somebody who has the right experience, right education, and all the right skills. He or she is a very good negotiator. He or she is a very good decision maker. He or she is a very good delegator. He or she is a very good communicator. Everything, all the skills you need for that particular position, he or she has it. On the other hand, you have someone who might have only 50 or 60% of the skills that is needed for that leadership position, but they have been inside the company for, let's say, 10 years. This guy with all the talent, they have been in the system for only 4 years or 3 years. What do you think happens when the time comes for the successor to take up the leadership position? Who is selected? It's rampant in companies across India, especially. Doesn't matter whether it's a company with 50 employees or 5,000 employees. They, most of the time, 99% of the cases, they allow the guy with the tenure to take on this position. Even though this guy has, let's say, 15 years of experience, but inside the company, they have been for 10 years. This guy has 20 years of experience, but inside the system, only 3 to 4 years. And he has all the right skills, but he doesn't have tenure inside the company. Is it logical? No, it isn't. But then when decision making has become logical, it's an irrational process. Your emotion, in this particular case, your fear of unknown is dictating this decision. That's why the management of the company go with the known devil as compared to the unknown angel, right? Fear of unknown, right? So that's option number 1. Pretty stupid, but keeps happening everywhere. Okay. Mistake number 2 in the context of succession planning is failure of developing internal talent. This is something again rampant in Indian companies all across the board, from 50 employees to 5,000 or 5 lakh employees everywhere. You go and talk to the CXOs, the founders, the decision makers of these businesses or business owners, ask them whether they have a structured formal FDP or not. So in 85 to 90% of the cases, they don't have a FDP. FDP, I'm calling it Faculty Development Program. It's Leadership Development Program, LDP. They don't have it. And when you inquire further, you have a discussion with them to understand why they do not deploy a structured leadership development program inside the company, you will understand that these founders and CXOs, they think leadership development programs are a cost, not investment in their future of the business, but it's a cost. Now, might sound a little harsh, but for a business coach like me, it's a blatant example of leadership immaturity, right? So this is the second mistake that a lot of companies do. Ideal scenario, you should have structured leadership development programs which helps the next generation of leaders to get ready to take on the roles and responsibilities. You are coaching, you're mentoring them, you are providing them all the trainings so that they can become better decision makers, so that they can become better negotiators, so that they can become better communicators, right? Better deal makers, better offer creators, better marketers, better whatever. But no, companies don't do this. So that is the second mistake. Failing to develop your internal talent. They always prefer, whenever there is a leadership position that is open, to hire somebody externally. Now that has 1,000 points of risk associated with it. For example, what if the new hire or external hire as a leader is not a cultural fit? What if the guy coming in has a long adaptation curve? They take much more time to adapt to the system and your way of doing business, your way of making decisions, your way of dealing with customers. What if they take a long time? There are so many things that can go wrong when you depend solely on external hires for a leadership position. Anyways, that's number 2 in terms of the top 5 mistakes during succession planning. Okay. First one, you choose tenure over talent. Second one is you fail to develop your internal leaders or talent. Number 3 is you focus only on executive roles. This is for the 18%. The 18% who actually have succession plan, they mostly focus on executive roles only. The top layer, the CEO or CXO layer. But ideally, when you are planning succession or you have a structured succession plan program, it should cover your mid-management, your senior management, your leadership team, and your executive leadership team. But most of the cases, only the executive leadership team or the CXO team, they have a succession plan. The leadership team, the senior management team, and the mid-management team, they do not have succession plans. The problem with this is the mid-management, the senior management, they are the ones who are running the business. They are making decisions on a daily basis. They are doing the negotiations on a daily basis. They are doing the customer communications on a daily basis, whether it's handling the customer's complaint or it's updating the customer about their status of the product or service. They are doing it. So you have to have succession plans for all these levels. That's a mistake a lot of companies do. Next, not involving key stakeholders in your succession planning process or successor development process. See, there is a leadership position and you know there are a few successors. You're training them all. But most of the time you will observe inside those 18% of the companies that do have a structured succession plan, you will see that succession or successor development happens behind the doors. Only the top CXOs are involved and the HR department is involved. And they develop someone and they put it in front of the employee. The problem with that is when you put the successor in front of the employee base, there's a huge disconnect between the rest of the organization and the successor. You don't want that to happen, because in that case, the new leader takes approximately 18 months to start performing. A better way of doing this would be to take all the peers, all the department heads, all the division heads, all the different location or zone heads, take all of them into account. This is the position we are trying to fill in. These are the people we are working with. When everybody is involved in the process, you have ownership, you have commitment to the process. So when actually the succession happens, you have a lot of acceptance rather than resistance, right? So that's a mistake. Not involving key stakeholders in your successor development program, that's a big mistake, big no-no. Last one is treating your succession planning as a one-time event. Succession planning is a regular process, because if you have a business, you are a CXO, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you know that people are going to leave. So succession planning should be a continuous process for you, because this is an unpredictable area. Let's say somebody has to quit emergency because of a medical emergency or health related issue. What do? Somebody resigned quick, without any notice or without any discussion. That's a surprise. In the world of business, we do not want surprises. We want preparation. So you have to have a continuous process of succession planning for, as I said, all four levels: your mid management, senior management, leadership, executive leadership. All levels, all roles should have succession plans. Okay. So those are the top 5 mistakes that businesses and companies do when it comes to succession planning. Choosing successors based on tenure and rather than talent, failing to develop internal talent, focusing only on executive roles for succession planning, not involving key stakeholders in the successor development program, and treating succession planning as a one-time event. Now, it's not my nature to discuss the problem and not give you a solution. I do have a couple of solutions that I want to share with you, but that will make the video more than 20 minutes long, which I do not want to do. So I'll stop this video here, and in the next video, I'll share with you at least 2 organizational habits, not all 5 organizational habits, which will address all 5 mistakes, at least 2 organizational practices that you can take back and deploy inside your company to initiate the process of creating or having a structured and formal succession plan. Okay, I'll do that in the next video, whenever that happens, preferably next week, and we can take it from there. In today's video, I'll stop here. What I've shared with you is 5 mistakes that businesses do when it comes to succession planning. Next week, we will learn how to avoid them. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care and be limitless.